All right. Why don't we do this?
Can I respond?
I did not hear you yell. Maybe I did not hear it. If it did happen, it wasn't in my presence. Because you two have this relationship, why don't you not talk to each other unless it's on the record?
Oh, that's...
And then I am involved.
That train is still... Yes, absolutely. I agree with that.
Two high-profile attorneys. The prosecutor, in this case, John Lewin, you know him from other cases that we've covered here on Court TV. And you've got Joe Tacopina, again, covering cases on Court TV, was a guest years ago for many, many years. They went at it today. That's the aftermath of all of it. Let me show you what happened inside the courtroom.
Counsel elected at his request to give a speech that he was very happy with his jury, wanted it to be known that he was happy with the jury.
Give a speech. Stop. Don't interrupt.
Okay.
You'll have a chance.
Oh, I know, but he should...
You'll have a chance. Wait till he finishes, then you will have a chance.
I know what he's doing right now.
Do not interrupt either. Neither of you interrupt the other.
He then asked to approach. When we asked to approach, he said he wanted to do it on the record. On the record. But outside the press, he then complains about jury selection, about a specific juror, etc. We are not going to participate in Mr. Tacopina's attempts to manipulate the media.
Oh.
Again,
First of all, I'd like him to provide a quote of what I said to the press, because one thing I've never done is speak about the facts of this case since the jury's been out. Never. Okay? But I do have here a quote from the district attorney, Mr. Hoffman, who did quote to Extra that he appreciates any time defense counsel is pretty sure they're going to prevail, but we don't bring cases unless we're very sure we can win those cases by establishing and meeting our burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. I believe that when we see the evidence that's going to be presented in this case, we'll meet that burden. So that's their district attorney. Okay? So I should be able to rebut something like that. That's different. That's saying we're going to win the case, we know the evidence, and we'll meet our burden. I talked about nothing other than potential issues with the jury. I didn't speak about the facts, I didn't speak about Mr. Efron. And I won't do that. So before we start casting aspersions, I wasn't going to even raise the bar. Just happen. I understand this is trial. But, you know, being that we're now throwing stones, let's hold the kettle black.
Let's not throw stones.
Well, I know, but they started. So I'm going to respond.
This is a no squabbling zone.
Oh, after he swallows. I'll swallow him back.
on Friday, it doesn't really matter what the circumstances were. Mr. Tacopina literally started screaming at me so again, I'm not interrupted Mr. Tacopina. As I speak, Mr. Tacopina makes noises. Again, if there's got to be a certain decorum, we're following it. But you know, you can't bring a knife to a gunfight. So we would appreciate, as the court is respectfully instructed, when one word is talking, the other word not interrupt. Mr. Tacopina, as court is aware, started literally screaming at me in the courtroom. He basically appeared to challenge me to a fight. And again,
both of you are zealous attorneys, aggressive attorneys, both of you.
He challenged me to a fight. Bob Bianchi, what's going on here?
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's good, zealous advocacy that's gone too far. But here's what I like. Tacopina, first of all, is correct. The prosecutor should not have been making extrajudicial statements, and he's got a right to be able to respond to those things. And if he responds to it vociferously and strongly and hard, he's doing that in representing his client's best interest. What I said in the beginning of this trial, and I believe it's coming to be true, is Tacopina's not going to just try the case. He's going to also attack the prosecutor along the way. He's going to try to make their life miserable, throw them off their game. And as far as I can see right now, he's doing an effective job at making the prosecutor's life miserable. He's loving every second of it. Every moment that these arguments are going on, it's reinvigorating him. It's making him more impassioned. And he's trying the case both against the state's theory and the prosecutors themselves. And by the way, last point, this guy Lewin, from what we saw in the Durst trial, The fact that they had to drag that guy in from another jurisdiction to try the case in this jurisdiction, I've never seen anything like it. That has to be kind of the worst choice in my mind you could make, not to mention a disrespect to the prosecutors that they don't have enough talent there to try this simple case. Come on.
He challenged him to a fight. And
yeah, so what?
Well,
first of all, no one's fighting Joe Tacopina these days.
no.
No one is fighting Joe Tacopina these days. Not if he goes down to Venice Beach with all the other guys. But let me ask you, Ann, have you seen, I haven't seen anything quite to this level in a long time.
No, I mean, why don't they just reach over and smack each other? I mean, just get it over with. It's terrible.
Rick, it seems to be getting personal, and now they can't talk to each other.
You know, so I love.
It's like a couple. It's like family court, right? They went through this bitter breakup.
Yes.
And the judge says, don't talk to each other. Talk to your lawyer. Oh, wait, you're the lawyers. So you got to talk to me, the judge.
Yeah. And listen, when you're in the well of the court, man, it's a war. When you're in that well, that's what it is. They've kind of gone a little too far, but in that well, man, it's as Bob said, it's that zealous advocacy, and it's that fighting for your client. And sometimes you put on that show for your client because you want him to believe that you're fighting for him as hard as you can. That's advocacy at its best. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, he does go by the name Rocky, Bob. So I guess we should have a fight at some point during this whole thing. But you believe that Tacopino's purposely doing this to try to throw the prosecutor off his game?
There's no doubt about this in my mind. This is a tactic that defense attorney. Look, there's a part, like's being said, that we're zealous in the courtroom. I've been there. I'm a very aggressive trial attorney, so I've been in fights and battles like this for sure. But as a prosecutor, I had to tend to back up a little bit because I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole. I didn't want to say something on the record that could get me into trouble. I didn't want to make any of the decorum in the courtroom any less than it needed to be. So you have to be more strategic as a prosecutor. For a defense attorney, what you're doing is one word: disruption. Disruption of the government's proofs, disruption of the prosecutor themselves, disruption of their evidence that they're going to put on, the way they put it on, throw them off their game, make every day they wake up, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I got to go try this case again with this maniac. That's what defense lawyers do.
One of my first trials was against one of those legendary maniacs in New Jersey. All right, I want to show you something. Who else was in court today, because they represent the victim in this case in a civil case. Do you recognize them? That's Ben Chu, Camille Vasquez, civil attorneys representing ASAP Relly in a case against Rocky and against Joe Tacopina. Thoughts, Ann Bremner?
Well, they got great lawyers. And I think Mr. Chu's been on too many times. So good for him. Now there's a civil case, although it's against the victim. So there you go.
You know, Rick, we're starting to see more of this now, of lawyers being sued for defamation for some of their statements that they're making outside of the courtroom.
That's why you got to be careful with that stuff. If your job is to practice in the courtroom, practice in the courtroom. Don't take it out into the media, because those things can kind of happen. But
not so loud, not so loud. They can talk to the media.
I prefer to live, as Bob was saying, I prefer to live rent-free in the head of the prosecutor. That's where you want to be. You want to be living in his head, because the more he's worried about you, the less he's thinking about that case.
And finally, Bob, do you think the civil aspect of this undermines the credibility of the accuser victim here?
Absolutely. It's the first thing I thought when I saw this. This is not a good look. Prosecutors do not want to see this happening. If it gets out or ekes out to the jury, or gives the defense attorney opportunities to say, like, there's a clown show going on in the court of public opinion, I don't know why the civil attorneys would do this other than to increase their stature. It doesn't help their client's case. It harms the prosecution's case. And last point, it is correct. The ethics rules say that lawyers should not be trying their cases out in the court of public opinion, and it continually goes on and it's allowed to go on. And I'm hoping someday, Vinny, somebody's gonna smack one of these lawyers down to say these are inappropriate things to do right out in front of a courthouse, I believe that was, while a criminal trial is going on. It's not a good look.
Yeah. All I'm a firm believer in the First Amendment. I like people when they speak. I think the more they speak, the better it is. But we'll see. I understand that the rules of the profession, and it is a profession, practicing law. And we had three great professionals tonight, Rick King, Ann Bremner, Bob Bianchi. Always a pleasure.